Hello everyone, welcome to Salesforce Academy. In today's lecture, we will set up our machine for our LWC project. Here is the list of software, IDE and applications required to create and work on a LWC project. First, we need an IDE to write code and create our LWC project. We also need latest version of JDK as Salesforce uses a couple of Oracle products. The Apex language server shipped as part of the Salesforce extension for VS Code, which depends on the Java platform. That's why we need this Java development kit. So if you go and search for Salesforce extension for Visual Studio Code, you will find out that it requires an installation of either JDK version 17 or 11 or JDK version 8. So we need a latest version or at least JDK version 8 to set up our environment of for LWC project. Next, we need the Salesforce command line interface basically to run our sfdx command. We will also install some Visual Studio Code extension like Salesforce extension pack, which provide features for working with development orgs, Apex, Aura components, and Visual Force. So let's follow each and every step for setting our machine environment and using it for our LWC project. So let's open your Google Chrome browser and search for the Visual Studio Code. Go to the Visual Studio Code download section. Here you will find out different installation setup for different operating system. If you are using Windows, then install Visual Studio Code by clicking on Windows. If you are using Linux or Debian, then you can download the Visual Studio Code setup from here. I am using Mac, so I will download Visual Studio Code from here. Just click on the Visual Studio Code button. Setup will be downloaded and then open it. Next, we need the JDK version. So while our Visual Studio Code is being downloaded, let's go and search for the JDK setup. So just search for JDK. If you want to install JDK version 8 or 11, just go to the link by clicking on JDK 8 or JDK 11. If you need the latest version of JDK, just go to the Oracle download section here, and here you will find different links for Linux, macOS and Windows. So if you are using Linux, choose the proper setup from here. If you are using Mac, then choose your proper setup from here, and if you are using Windows, then choose the proper setup from here. Basically, in Windows we use .exe file, or you can download the zip and extract. You will find .exe setup here. I am using Mac, so I am just installing the JDK 19 DMG file. Our Visual Studio Code has been downloaded, so let's just open it. So in Mac, Visual Studio Code is downloaded as the application setup. So you will just have the need to drag it to application, and from application you will find this in your launchpad. So here, if you are using Windows, then you will have to execute the setup, and after completing the installation setup, Visual Studio Code IDE will be appear on your desktop screen. So now let's install our JDK version. Okay, so I think I need to install some another version of JDK. If you are facing any issue with JDK installation, just go to the instruction of JDK installation for either for Windows or Mac OS and follow each and every step of instruction to install JDK version 8. In Windows, don't forget to add the setup environment, add your local environment variable. In macOS, you don't have the need to add the environment variable. So now just provide your Apple ID, and now the JDK version is installed successfully. Okay, so now we have the need to install Salesforce CLI. Just go and search for Salesforce CLI and go to the Salesforce CLI website. You will find out three different options for different operating system. So just download the setup file for your operating system. If you are on Windows, click on Windows and download the setup file based on your Windows architecture. If you are on Linux, then download the setup file for Linux. I am using Mac, so I am downloading setup for Mac. Just click on the download button. It will take a few minutes to download the setup. After downloading the setup, just open it and click on continue. This will take around 500 MB of space. So just click on install and provide your machine password. To verify the Salesforce CLI installation, just go to your terminal and then type sfdx there. So now installation is successful for a Salesforce CLI. Just close this. Now I am going to verify the Salesforce CLI installation. So I am checking for the version. Just type sfdx and you will find out the Salesforce CLI version here. So I have installed the latest version, which is 7.182.1. Now we need to set up our Visual Studio Code. So just go and open the Visual Studio Code. In Windows, you will find Visual Studio Code IDE on your desktop. So just open it, and now we will install some extension for Salesforce in Visual Studio Code. So first extension we will install is Salesforce extension pack. Okay. So just search for Salesforce extension pack in Visual Studio Code extensions. Here you will see the Salesforce extension pack version 56.5.1 or later. So just click on install button here. This will install several Visual Studio Code extension, which includes SQL, Apex, LWC component, Visual Force, Aura. So this extension pack contains several small Salesforce extension for Visual Studio Code. And why this is needed? This is needed to work with our development docs, Apex classes, then Aura components, and Visual Force pages. So we need this Salesforce extension pack in our Visual Studio Code. Next, I am installing a formatter extension. So just go and search for Prettier and click on install button. This is basically a code formatter which will automatically format your code, and this is very useful. This is very useful for writing our Apex code or LWC code in a proper manner. So this will automatically arrange all your code in Visual Studio Code. So after installation of each and every Salesforce extension, you will find out all those installed extension here in installed section. So we have installed each and every each and every application and extension required for our Visual Studio Code. And now just verify the Salesforce CLI integration with Visual Studio Code. So in your Visual Studio Code, just press Command Shift and P. So it will open your Visual Studio Code command palette, and here you will have to type sfdx, and now you will see several sfdx commands here. So for creating project, And after creating a project, if you will type sfdx in your command palette, then you will find several other sfdx command. So you will find out sfdx command for your DevHub authorization. You will find out sfdx command for retrieval or deployment of your LWC component. So we are done with all these steps of setting our machine for LWC project. Now we will create a Salesforce LWC project, and then we will work on that LWC project from scratch. Before that, before working on the Salesforce LWC project, we will have to authorize our Salesforce Dev Hub. So we will check for the authorization and creation of our first LWC project in the next lecture. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for latest update. Can you like, share if you are enjoying our video? See you in next lecture. Thank you.